You're sitting in a foreclosure attorney's waiting room, holding a manila folder full of papers that say, the house you bought with cash 3 years ago is about to belong to someone else. Somewhere in your jacket pocket is a phone full of unanswered calls from people who used to be your best friends. 5 years ago, you had $87 million before taxes. Today, you have $340 in checking and a car with a lien on it. To understand how a fortune that size disappears, you have to go back to the night before any of it happened. Back when you were nobody. And nobody was a perfectly fine thing to be. You're 34. Working the loading dock at a distribution center in central Pennsylvania. $19 an hour. Married 4 years. 2 kids under 6. Money's tight the ordinary way, not desperate, just tight. The kind where a car repair means a month of ramen and a strained conversation about the credit card. Every Friday, you and 3 guys from the dock pool $5 each into a Powerball ticket. More ritual than hope. Your buddy Marcus kicks in his 5, same as everyone else. Marcus also quietly puts $15 a week into a Roth IRA through payroll deduction. Something you've teased him about more than once. Free money isn't real money to you. It's a number on a stub you forget by Saturday. This Friday, the number matches. Not one number, all of them. You stare at the stub under gas station fluorescence at 11:40 at night, running the digits against your phone 4 separate times because your brain won't accept what your eyes are telling it. Jackpot's $412 million, split 4 ways. Before taxes, your share still lands just under $87 million if you take the cash option. Everybody always takes the cash option. You call your wife first. Your hands are shaking so hard you drop the phone twice. You call Marcus 20 minutes later. He says almost nothing at first. Then one sentence you'll remember for the rest of your life, though you won't understand why until it's far too late. Don't let this happen to you the way it happens to everybody else. The Lottery Commission connects you with an attorney and a financial advisor before the check even clears. Standard procedure. Designed to slow winners down long enough to make one good decision before the bad ones start. You take the lump sum. After the mandatory 24% federal withholding and your state's tax bracket, it lands at just under $54 million. 54 is not 87. That stings more than it should for a man who had $1,200 in savings 6 weeks earlier. For about 3 months, you do almost everything right. You pay off your mortgage. You pay off Marcus's too, as a thank you, which he refuses twice before he lets you. You buy a nicer house, not an obscene one. You tell yourself the money changes nothing about who you are. That lasts until the calls start. Your cousin needs $40,000 for a business that's basically guaranteed. Your brother-in-law needs $60,000 to clear gambling debts he swears are the last ones. A childhood friend you haven't spoken to in a decade needs a bridge loan for a restaurant. You say yes to almost everyone, because saying no to people who watched you struggle for 34 years feels cruel now that you can't point to scarcity as your excuse. Within 8 months, you've given away or loaned out $2.3 million. Most of it you will never see again in any form. The word loan turns out to mean gift the moment real money changes hands between people who've never had any. Then things stop being generous and start being reckless, though the line between the two is blurrier than you'd like to admit even now. A financial advisor at a boutique firm, one you met through a country club membership. You bought mostly to feel like you belonged somewhere, tells you real wealth isn't parked in index funds earning a boring 7%. Real wealth is deployed. He gets you into private real estate developments and a leveraged oil and gas partnership promising north of 20% a year, structured so you personally guarantee a portion of the debt if it underperforms. You don't fully understand the guarantee clause. You sign it anyway. By now, you've started believing that understanding every detail is what poor people do, and rich people just pay someone else to understand it for them. For a while, on paper, it works. Statements show your net worth climbing past $61 million. higher than the check you originally deposited. That number becomes its own kind of drug. You buy a boat you use 4 times. You buy your parents a house they didn't ask for, in a neighborhood far from everyone they know. Marcus is still living in the same house you paid off for him, still working the same dock. Somebody's got to keep doing something normal, he tells you one night over a beer you paid for. Or I'll forget how. You laugh at him. Not unkindly. With the specific condescension of a man who's forgotten what normal costs. You tell him the oil and gas deal alone is going to double his money if he wants in. He politely declines. You tell yourself he's just cautious by nature, missing out on something real. Oil prices fall. Not catastrophically. Just enough. The leveraged partnership, built on the assumption that prices would keep climbing, starts issuing capital calls. Formal demands for more cash to cover debt you personally guaranteed 18 months ago without fully grasping what that meant. First call, $1.8 million. You pay it because refusing means losing your entire investment and possibly triggering the guarantee anyway. Second call, 4 months later, $3.4 million. Your liquid cash is thinning fast. Most of it's tied up in real estate you can't quickly sell, and a boat worth 40 cents on the dollar the moment it leaves the marina. You tell yourself this is temporary. A rough patch before the next distribution rebalances everything the way the advisor keeps promising. That's the sentence you repeat to your wife at 2 in the morning, staring at statements that stopped making sense pages ago. The math stops working the moment the amount you need to keep the structure standing exceeds the amount you actually have. Third capital call, $5.1 million. 30 days to pay or forfeit everything already invested. You liquidate the trust. Sell the second house at a loss. Personally guarantee a bridge loan against your original house, the one you paid off in cash during those first honest months, just to avoid defaulting on debt tied to a business you never fully understood. 18 months after the first capital call, the real estate partnership goes into receivership entirely. The personal guarantee comes due in full, $9.2 million, more than your entire remaining net worth combined. Your attorney explains, in the calm, practiced tone of someone who's delivered this exact news to other lottery winners before, that Chapter 7 is close to unavoidable, and that the second home and the boat will be liquidated to satisfy creditors. Your original house, the one purchase you made with pure, uncomplicated joy, goes into foreclosure. Not because you spent recklessly on it, because you used it as collateral to save a structure that was already collapsing underneath you. The family members who took your money don't return your calls once the story goes public. And it does go public, because local news loves nothing more than a lottery winner who lost it all. The same outlet that ran a front-page photo of you and your wife holding an oversized check 5 years ago now runs a smaller story with the words, "Financial collapse" in the headline. Your cousin's guaranteed business folded 2 years back. He never mentioned it. He certainly never mentioned paying you back. Your brother-in-law's gambling debts became your debts the moment you co-signed that loan. And he filed his own bankruptcy 8 months before you filed yours. Marcus is the only person from your old life still there when the dust settles. He shows up the week of the foreclosure hearing, not with money, because he doesn't have anywhere close to what you'd need, but with 2 folding chairs and a cooler. He sits with you in the driveway of the house you're about to lose, the same way he used to sit with you on the loading dock during 15-minute breaks a lifetime ago. He never says "I told you so." Not once. Not even the night you finally ask him why he never touched the oil and gas deal despite watching the statements climb for over a year. He tells you it wasn't wisdom. He just never stopped being a little afraid of money he didn't fully understand. And that fear, as embarrassing as it felt at the time, turned out to be worth more than every projection the advisor ever put in front of you. Roughly a third of lottery winners eventually file for bankruptcy. A statistic that sounded abstract 5 years ago and now sits in your chest like a diagnosis. You go back to work. Not the loading dock. Marcus is still there. Same shift. Same $15 a week, sliding into the same Roth IRA that's now worth more than anything you have left from $87 million. You take a job at a warehouse 2 towns over, the ordinary way, with a resume and an interview, and nobody recognizing your name. Your wife stayed. Your kids are too young to fully understand what happened, though they'll grow up knowing the story in fragments, the way most families do. Some nights you sit in the small rental you're in now and think about the version of yourself that took the check outside that gas station 8 years ago. The one who believed money that size could only ever make things easier. You don't regret winning. You regret, very specifically, the 18 months you stopped being afraid, when you let a man in a nicer suit than yours convince you that fear was something only poor people carried. Marcus still calls every couple of weeks. Same as always. Asks if you want to grab a beer. Same as always. Like the boat and the second house and the $87 million never happened at all. This isn't the life the check promised you outside that gas station. But it's yours again, finally. And most days, that turns out to be enough.